Hey there, it's Mandee Montana. Are you taking great care of your skin? You know I use great products. I take my vitamins and I drink plenty of water, but I could be better about applying sunscreen daily and making sure my skin is protected against premature aging. What about you? Well, I've got great news. I have a solution. It's the new Premium Diamond Glow Treatment at Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler. I love it. I went recently and it exfoliates and hydrates your skin at the same time. Amazing, right? My skin feels so soft and silky after. You have to try it. If you've never had a facial before, they have different options at Hand and Stone, like hydrating and brightening. But if you're struggling with dark spots, hyperpigmentation, sun damage, sallow skin, enlarged pores, or maybe oily skin, this is the treatment for you. If you want your skin to glow and look and feel amazing, book the Diamond Glow. Schedule now by visiting Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in the Cumberland Shopping Center in Tyler or online at handandstonetyler.com. Life doesn't always need a total overhaul. Sometimes it just needs an edit. Welcome to the Midlife Millennial Edit, where we talk about the tweaks, pivots, and perspective shifts that make all the difference. Midlife Millennial Edit is brought to you by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, helping you feel your best through every edit of life. Schedule now by visiting Hand and Stone in the Cumberland Shopping Center or online at handandstonetyler.com. I'm your host, Mandee Montana, broadcaster, storyteller, and fellow midlife millennial, on a mission to explore what thriving really looks like in this next chapter. From wellness and creativity to career pivots and community, we'll dive into real conversations about curating a life that fits who you're becoming. Grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's make this edit together. Hey friends, it's Mandee. And do you ever make a big decision and then go, hey, wait, I got to pivot? I feel like 2025 has been the year of pivot for me. So, pivoting once again. Last episode, about a month ago, I let you know that I am in transition and I am shifting the branding of the podcast, right? It's been celebrating women for a little over 2 years now, and we have loved celebrating women so much. It's been such an incredible journey. It has broadened my mind. It has stimulated conversation. It has created opportunities. It's built relationships. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm so grateful for it. But it feels like it's time to shift gears a little bit. And so last episode, I gave you this really long podcast name that I was shifting to. And then I got inspired again. And since I haven't actually officially rebranded yet, we're going to shift things up again. So it could happen a little bit more. Stay tuned over the course of the fourth quarter of 2025, because as I just mentioned, this is apparently Mandee's year of pivot. But instead of the long version I gave you last time, how about we go with Midlife Millennial Edit, the Midlife Millennial Edit podcast. And I say edit for a few reasons. It's kind of editorial, but also because it's probably going to be shorter unless I have a long-form guest on with me, which TBD on when the next one of those is happening. I have some things in mind, but scheduling has become an interesting challenge for me over the last several months as I've been, again, pivoting and in transition with my full-time career. So thanks for hanging with me while things are still a little bit up in the air. But I've got 5 things for you today on the Midlife Millennial Edit, the MME. So the first one is I want to just talk a little bit about perimenopause. Now, speaking of 2025 and the year of pivot, the very first episode of 2025 this year on this podcast was all about perimenopause. And I told you I'm full on in it and have been navigating it for a while. And so we talked to someone who is an expert in body movement, in Pilates and yoga. And we talked a little bit about hormones and the different hormone panels that you can get to check to see where you're at with that and to check in with yourself on adjustments that might need to be made. And I shared a little bit about my journey. This is something that full on hit me, and I didn't know what was hitting me when I was 39 years old. I knew things were not quite right, that I felt a little off. In fact, I saw this on an Instagram reel with Dr. Mary Claire Haver, who is a menopause specialist. She was being interviewed by Stephen Bartlett, the Diary of a CEO podcaster. His podcast is fabulous. If you're not watching it, you will gain so much value from it. You should definitely check it out. But she said one of the first things that is like a trigger for her to know that someone is going through perimenopause is they say, I don't feel like myself. Sometimes they just say the acronym IDFLM. I don't feel like myself. Have you been there? That is totally what was happening to me. And I was like having conversations with my mom and my best friends about it. And, none of us knew what was going on. We didn't have answers. I feel like I was one of my first in my age group, friend group, peer group to be going through this. And so, navigating it has been challenging. But like being able to name something gives you power over it. Being able to name your feelings or name a condition, man, it gives you so much power because then you can go get more information, right? And information does feel very empowering. And so this is one of those first symptoms. So if you've been hearing people talk about perimenopause and menopause, you're kind of in our age group, I'm 42 now, and you don't feel like yourself, it might be that you are in this transition period. And one of the things that on this same podcast she was describing, Dr. Mary Claire Haver said, it's where like the life that you've built that you've been able to manage for so long, suddenly you don't have the same resilience that you did before. It's like you can't handle the same stresses and the same day-to-day challenges that you could just weeks or months before. And now it's become a lot more challenging. And this is because of hormone fluctuations. She said that in the transition of perimenopause, which can last like 10 years, buckle up, get ready, mental health challenges increase by 40%. 40%, that's huge. I mean, that's a major barrier to overcome, especially when other things are going on. Like you got physical challenges probably happening at this stage of life too, and cognitive challenges, meaning your memory might not be the same. You might not process information the same way or understand things as quickly or as easily as you used to. Those are all things that I was experiencing. When I finally went in to get my hormones checked, I did share these things. I had gained weight quickly. Even though I really hadn't changed my diet up all that much, I had been following a low-carb lifestyle and a supplement regimen for like 7 years and had maintained and I'm active, like walking and was even, riding a Peloton for a period of time. I was an active person and yet suddenly put on a bunch of weight out of nowhere, didn't feel like myself, borderline depressed. Yeah. My mood changes, didn't really want to engage with the world in the same way that I had. There was a lot of things going on, a lot of red flags that sort of drifted in over time. It's kind of like when you're gaining weight and you don't realize how much you've gained until like your pants don't fit anymore. Been there? Yep. I think every woman has at some point. It was kind of like that for me with this, not just with the physical weight gain, but also with the emotional and mental challenges that I was dealing with. They were coming on slowly and they were building and they were stacking over time. And I didn't realize how bad it had gotten. And then once I finally asked for help and we had my hormones checked and we realized there was some major fluctuations happening. In fact, my doctor thought I was in menopause. My hormones were that kind of crazy all over the place. And I was like, nope, definitely still having a cycle. So then my cycle got really out of whack. So we made some adjustments. She helped me get that in check. She helped me get lifestyle that felt livable for me. And we've managed to do some lab work consistently to know that my hormones are fluctuating, but we are starting to find a through line and level me out a little bit. But here's the fun part. Here's the fun part, ladies. They're going to keep fluctuating until you hit menopause. Yeah, it's a roller coaster. And like I said, depending on when you start, it could start as early as 35 and it can last like about 10 years. Yeah, depending on when your start. So, I feel like I'm going to be in this phase for probably another 4 or 5 years. This is just what I'm dealing with. So, okay, I told you I had like 5 things for you today. So that's where we're starting. You can check the box for number 1. Number 2, I saw this on Instagram and I just thought it was so cute that I had to share it. So I'm a pretty open-minded, exploratory, curious person. You've probably figured that out already if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time. And I love affirmations and mantras. And I found this cute lady that is on Instagram. She goes by Subconsciously Shay. If you follow her, then you know her vibe. She had this thing up a couple of days ago where she was talking about some affirmations you can say over yourself, only she called them spells, which I thought was kind of fun and like a little bit just like kitschy witchy, like silliness for fall and Halloween, right? So, I mean, essentially affirmations, mantras, things that you repeat over yourself can help reframe your reality, right? Because you're saying these things repetitively in order to ingrain them in your mind so that these are the things that you look for. These are the things that you are like willing into existence. So I thought it was fun that she called it spells, but she said say them out loud, write them down, speak them loudly, and just let yourself live in these words. And you know what's fun about this is audio, right? So you could pause it, run it back, relive it, say it with me if you want to. So here are the words that she shared that I thought were so beautiful. Again, Instagram, Subconsciously Shay, if you want to go find her original video. Here we are. My life is supposed to go well. My life is supposed to go well. Love it. Good things come easily to me. Good things come easily to me. I am always in the right place at the exact right time. Timing is my friend. I am always in the right place at the exact right time. Timing is my friend. There is enough time for me to get everything done and still care for myself. There is enough time for me to get everything done and still care for myself. I love these. I attract aligned opportunities and I repel anything that is not meant for me. I attract aligned opportunities and I repel anything that is not meant for me. And finally, I choose to be filled with energy and rest when I need to rest. I choose to be filled with energy and rest when I need to rest. I loved that. I just so love that. I'm going to play that back for myself because we all need a little bit more of that positivity, don't we? All right. Okay. So that's two things down. We talked a little bit about perimenopause, midlife, and man, I just want you to know if you don't feel like yourself, you should start investigating, ask questions, visit your provider. Two, the affirmations, I think just saying those things over yourself, listening to me, run it back, say it with me, just, get yourself in a good state because it makes everything better. Your mindset is just going to improve everything. And third, we are going to talk like physicality a little bit, kind of leaning back into the midlife thing. Man, things are just changing. Before I hit perimenopause, I was following a low carb lifestyle and had a great supplement routine, drinking lots of water, active, and life was good. I was feeling really, really, really great, like functioning at a very high level in all areas. So happy in my career, happy in my marriage, happy in my body, had a great mental state, all these things. Then when hormone fluctuations kicked in, I'm telling you, it unsettled me, right? I was describing it earlier. So I have found a new solution to kind of fit into my tool belt, a new tool for the tool belt, ladies. In addition to supplements, in addition to being active, in addition to, having a pretty solid awareness of what I eat and what I consume, I am also doing peptide therapy. Maybe you've heard a little bit about this lately. It is pharmaceutical. It is definitely something you need to talk to your provider about. This is not something that I am giving recommendations on by any means. I am not a doctor. I am not a nurse. When I talked to my doctors about all the things that were going on that I was talking about earlier, for me, we decided this is something that we should try. And I have been learning and investigating a bit more about peptides. I was super skeptical, borderline against this for a very long time because I was seeing some challenges that people were having early on before there's tons of research now, but early on when people were initially talking about the GLP-1 drugs, there were some pretty significant challenges that a lot of people were facing health-wise, some of them facing monetarily, getting access to them. And what I've seen over the last year is the market flooded with a variety of peptide therapies. Over time, I've just been paying attention and watching it because Weight management has been something I've been dealing with since I was 12 years old. So that said, it's something that has been in my consciousness for a very long time. And when I was talking to my provider about how to navigate this stage of my life, and she kind of asked me how I had managed my weight previously and recommended intermittent fasting to me, I looked at her and was just like, I don't want to think about it anymore. And I don't think I actually told her the 12-year-old part, but basically that means for 30 years of my life, which is the majority of my life, for 30 of my 42 years of life, I have been thinking about my body type, how I fit into my clothes, how much I weigh, what I'm consuming, how many calories, how many carbs, all the things, how much protein. I've been thinking about all of those things. Some could say that is disordered. It's been going on for a long time. I've never been diagnosed with that, but it's been something that's been living in my brain. So as peptide therapy has become available, it's become more common, it's become more researched. It turns out that the company that I have been partnering with for supplements now for over 8 years that I trust, that does not jump on the bandwagon too soon on things, is stepping into that world. So alongside the incredible nutritional supplements that they offer, they are adding XMD Wellness, where I will be able to refer you to talk to a medical professional so that you can investigate peptides for yourself. So in advance of that offer happening, I talked to my own doctor about peptide therapy and went ahead and started it. I am right at 3 weeks in. I have already lost weight. I already feel less bloated and have had little to no side effects. The things that they said that would happen as far as slowing down my digestion and feeling fuller longer, those things have happened. If I overeat a little bit, I can tell, but it's helping tremendously. And not having to jump through a million hoops, create a massive food diary, and go grocery shopping twice a week and just overthink, weigh, measure constantly has been a gift after having done that for years and years and years. Now, I will say this. I do pay attention to how much protein I'm getting, because one of the things that's important whenever you are doing any kind of weight loss is making sure that you're not losing your muscles, right? So I practice resistance training. We've talked about this before. I do that 3 days a week and have been doing that consistently for over 2 years. For the last couple of years, I've also been focused on getting in plenty of protein throughout the day from a variety of sources, including collagen, whole foods, and some supplements. I have been supplementing for gut health, probiotic, prebiotic, a digestive enzyme, and I have a product that I use that helps to maintain blood sugar levels too. All of these things available in my peptide prep pack. If you're curious about it, I'm happy to share the specifics. I take a multivitamin, I take an advanced omega to make sure that I'm getting well-rounded nutrition in, even though I'm consuming a lot less calories due to the peptide therapy, right? So I had to share that with you because I know that a lot of us are navigating these same challenges and have the same frustrations. I can't tell you how many women I've talked to over the last 3 to 4 years that even when I shared with them the nutritional supplements that I love, they're like, these are helping, but I'm not seeing the changes and I don't know what's going on in my body, why I'm not losing the weight. And so it's going to be such a blessing to be able to point people in the right direction and point them in a direction that I feel confident in sharing because I trust this company. And like I said, I've been aligned with them for 8 years. While they do things quickly and they stay at the forefront of technology, they are not necessarily always first to market because they want to make sure things are researched well, tested well, done right, safe. You know, all the boxes are checked so that you feel confident and I feel confident telling you about it. You can send me a text message. If you go to show notes, just send a text message, reach out. I would love to tell you more about it. Or you can shoot me an email if you want to, mandeemontana@gmail.com. That's Mandee with 2 E's, Montana like the state, @gmail.com. And just in the subject line, put peptides so that it doesn't get lost and I can find you and we can talk about it. So if you reach out to me like today and you're listening to this in October, just know that you are going to be on the VIP list ahead of the game. Yeah. Okay, I've got 2 more things for you before we wrap up this first episode of the Midlife Millennial Edit. So there's somebody that I've been following and reading for years, and I love her. An author, a speaker, a spiritual guide to many people, Gabby Bernstein. She's written so many books. 2 of my favorites are The Universe Has Your Back and Super Attractor. She's written many more, but those are my top 2. And she's on Audible, so you can listen. And I love listening to Gabby's voice. She's just got a really soothing voice. But she shared some mantras and affirmations. So we went through some earlier from Subconsciously Shay, but I wanted to give you a few more in case those weren't your vibe. Maybe you'll like these. These are similar but different. And I'm happy to share Gabby's Instagram link if you want to follow her as well. But affirmations to manifest abundance and success. I'm going to go through the list. You ready? Abundance surrounds me now. Abundance surrounds me now. Blessings flow to me with ease. Blessings flow to me with ease. Abundance flows to me with ease. Abundance flows to me with ease. The highest blessings are on their way to me today. The highest blessings are on their way to me today. Life is good and I deserve good things. Life is good, and I deserve good things. I manifest my desires easily. I manifest my desires easily. Just a few from Gabby. I love her. I love following her. She brightens up my social feed and brings positivity to my life, so I love it. All right, finally, 5th thing today. We talked a little bit about midlife, perimenopause symptoms. We did some fun affirmations with Subconsciously Shay. I talked a little bit about peptide therapy. I've got some great resources on that if you're curious. Some more affirmations with Gabby Bernstein. And finally, I'm just so thankful it finally feels like fall in Texas. It's probably going to get warm again. But the last 2 mornings have been cool, and I've just been so thankful for that. And so I wanted to tell you how I've been celebrating fall by watching Gilmore Girls episodes, specifically only the ones set in the season of fall through all seasons. And it's been kind of fun, like jumping from like season 2, 4 or 5 episodes to season 3, 4 or 5 episodes to season 4. It's been so much fun. Anyway, I highly recommend it. If you want me to send you those specific autumn episodes, like I said, drop me an email or send me a text through show notes. Lighting candles, I love it. And opening windows to have fresh air blowing through the house, and then also a scented candle. Oh, I love it. Cozy sweatshirts and blankets. I recently splurged on a Minky Couture blanket, and I am obsessed with it. It's like the monster size. It is the coziest, most luxurious feeling thing. I'm obsessed so much. And daily, I make myself a homemade latte. I have espresso pods. I steam almond milk. I use 2 pods of the Nespresso, about, a cup-ish, 6 ounces-ish of the almond milk, steamed, of course. And then I add pumpkin spice seasoning, and I add a couple of different skinny syrups, okay? They have these at Drug Emporium locally. They have an abundance of flavors, but the ones that I've been using lately are brown sugar cinnamon. I do a little like splish splash of that, and then I do a splish splash of vanilla almond. OMG, it's like fall in a cup. I love it so much. And then, of course, I add my collagen so that I'm getting 9 grams of protein when I'm drinking it too. My powdered collagen from Zingular, I just stir it on up in there. So yeah, good stuff. How I'm celebrating fall. So thank you so much for being patient and persistent with me as I am pivoting through 2025 and finding the new voice and the new brand of the podcast. I appreciate you. I'm open to suggestions too. But right now, what we're rolling with for this episode is the Midlife Millennial Edit. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in to Midlife Millennial Edit. If today's conversation inspired you, I'd love to hear from you. Head over to mandeemontana.com to explore more episodes, resources, and ways to connect. You can also send me a quick text through the link in the show notes. I love hearing what's resonating and what you'd like to hear next. Until next time, remember, life doesn't need a total overhaul, just an edit.